All right, let's get into it. So, we've all gotten pretty used to AI assistants, right? But what happens when these AIs stop working alone and start teaming up? Well, that's what we're talking about today. It's the next big wave in artificial intelligence, and it's called an agent swarm. I want you to just picture this for a second. You've got a brilliant idea for an app, but instead of spending months hiring people, you could get an entire company. I'm talking a CEO, coders, testers, the whole shebang, basically in an instant. And here's the kicker. Every single employee is an AI agent. Each one is a specialist, ready to jump on your project the second you say go. They all have their own specific job, their own role to play. So what is this? Is it just some cool idea ripped from a sci-fi movie? Or are we looking at the actual new reality of how work gets done? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down in this explainer. This brings us right to the core of it all, AI swarms. And look, this isn't just some small update. This is a totally different way of thinking about AI. We're moving from AI as a single tool, like one worker, to AI as a collaborative team, an entire force working together. So what exactly is an agent swarm? The key idea here is moving away from having one generalist AI that tries to do everything at once. Instead, you divide up the work among a bunch of dedicated experts. And the result? You get a system that can tackle way more complex problems and with a lot more accuracy. The best way to get your head around this is with some simple analogies. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella actually compared it to a colony of ants. No single ant is in charge, right? But they all work together to achieve these incredibly complex goals. Or, hey, think about a busy kitchen. You got one chef prepping, another on the grill, someone else plating. Together, they create a perfect meal way faster and better than any one chef could alone. It's the same idea. Okay, so we get the what, but how does this actually play out in the real world? Let's take a look at a fantastic example of a virtual company that's built entirely with AI agents. This project is called ChatDev. It's open source, and it literally builds a virtual software company from the ground up. Every AI agent gets a role you'd find in a real tech company, and they all work together to build actual working software. And this shows you just how cool the process is. It all starts when a human gives it an idea. Then the AI CEO and the CTO agents get together and plan out the whole project. From there, the coder agents get to work writing the code. But then the tester agents jump in to find bugs, and if they find any, they kick it back to the coders with notes. Once everything's working perfectly, the writer agents swoop in to create the user manual. It's a full, automated, collaborative cycle. And you might be thinking, okay, that's a cool one-off project. But it's not. There's a whole ecosystem of really powerful tools and frameworks that developers are using to build these multi-agent systems right now. And yeah, a whole ecosystem is popping up. Just look at some of the top players. You've got CrewAI, which is amazing for quickly setting up these role-based teams. LangGraph is built for more complex stuff, like in finance or healthcare, where you need to track everything. Then there's Google's ADK for big enterprise-level projects, and Microsoft's AutoGen, which is a favorite for researchers who are really pushing the limits. Each one has its own strengths, which just shows you how fast the space is moving. And this goes so far beyond just writing code. Seriously. Agent swarms are already being used to optimize marketing campaigns in real time, to manage these incredibly complex global supply chains, and even to coordinate teams of financial trading bots. We're seeing them automate customer support and totally speed up scientific research. The possibilities are just enormous. Okay, so this all sounds incredible, but like with any huge technological leap, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's a real healthy debate going on about the hype, the hurdles, and the reality of it all. So let's start with the skeptics. You see takes like this one from a software engineer on Reddit. The argument is basically that, for now, AI is great for the simple, repetitive stuff, but it really struggles with those creative leaps, the kind of intuition that comes from real human experience. They see these things as tools to make them better, not as replacements for their actual jobs. So you've really got two sides of the coin here. The benefits are obvious, right? It's super efficient, you get higher quality work from specialized experts, and the whole system is more scalable. But, on the other hand, managing these swarms is really complex. Getting them to coordinate can be a nightmare, they can be unpredictable, and then there's the big one, the cost. And to put that cost into perspective, check this out. Research shows a multi-agent system can burn through up to 15 times more tokens, which is just how we measure the AI's workload, than a single agent. That is a massive jump in cost. For that to be worth it, the performance has to be way, way better. But here is the other side of it, and it's the core belief that's driving this whole field forward. It's perfectly captured by the original Reddit poster who kicked off this whole conversation. The idea is that collaboration itself makes the AI smarter. By having agents talk to each other, challenge each other, and check each other's work, the system can actually correct its own mistakes and reduce those weird hallucinations you hear about. The whole really does become greater than the sum of its parts. All right, so we've got the hype, we've got the hurdles. Where does that leave us? Where is all of this tech actually headed? Well, there are a few really big trends you should keep an eye on. First is this idea of human-in-the-loop systems, where our job is to act as managers for these AI teams, stepping in for the big decisions. We'll also see agents get packaged up as microservices. Think of them like tiny, independent apps that do one thing really well, making them easy to mix and match. And then there's the really futuristic stuff, self-organizing swarms that can literally change their own structure to solve new problems, all while being guided by new safety rules to keep them in line. And all of this leaves us with one last kind of wild thought. As this tech moves out of the lab and into our daily lives, we have to ask a pretty big question. It might not be a single robot sitting in the cube next to you, but could your next coworker actually be an entire invisible team of specialized AI agents working behind the scenes? Something to think about.